I'm here with
watching
the Pidge and Jake and Style.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sick.
That's
Merry Christmas,
me.
everybody.
This one's gonna be well after Christmas. This one's probably pushing
Happy
February.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy
Happy
whatever,
fucking day.
happy whatever the fuck we're celebrating. If you're listening to this and it's super late, good night.
If you're listening to this to fall asleep, that you got some weird habits.
It's a weird ASMR to pick.
Yeah,
not
dude.
gonna lie.
What was your favorite thing to wake up to in the middle of the night? Like 3 a.m., like Adult Swim? Was it
No, it was
Too many cooks.
Was it George Lopez?
Time
Was
Life
George Lopez
Presents.
or Full House.
You said it was what? For
Time
Friends?
Time Life Presents
Time
30 classic love songs on 3 discs.
How am I supposed to live without you?
Thank you, Michael Bolton.
I remember I woke
Michael
up super early one time and The Outsiders was just playing on the TV, and I watched all of The
Was it
Outsiders at like 10 years old.
Was it the
was
gay
sick
scene?
before we even read it
Yeah.
in school.
I have.
There's a gay scene in Outsiders?
It's kind of gay. They were all getting out of the shower and they were only like V-cut shots of their pubes, dude.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they showed. I
So-
remember they showed that in like
You
school.
downloaded the wrong movie.
No, we watched it in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, you
weirdest-
watched a different movie.
The
didn't you?
weirdest thing I woke up to when I was a kid, there was a Twilight Zone episode, and you know the really weird one about Hitler that like you can't find anywhere.
No.
No.
Oh,
Can't find it
Explain.
anywhere.
That's awesome.
Gonna go ahead and say
it's-
no. on
No,
that
so
one.
long story short, this episode of Twilight Zone, it was insane. But so this mysterious voice is guiding this local like small guy who wants to get into politics, and he's sick of things, and he follows this voice of change, and it ends up being Hitler, and they reveal it at the end because it's just this guy in the I'm good, this guy in the shadows, like
That's
talking
terrifying.
to him. And then, like, because, you know, Twilight Zone, they were great with this creepy music. And it did,
Yeah.
like, that,
Right.
da-da-da-dum, and he, like, stepped forward. And, like, 10-year-old me, I
Hitler.
was like, fuck. No.
Pickle Hitler. No.
Why is he in the film? And, like, no, that was freaky as hell to wake up to.
I have a picture on my DSI.
What?
Good way to start a story.
You know how in DSIs you can like take pictures.
Oh, I
and,
mean,
like,
I
make it
know.
your background.
I know what you're talking about.
When I was like 2008, 2007, I went into my uncle's garage and I took a photo which became my DSI background, which was a photo of Hitler. And it said, "When I come back, no more Mr. Nice Guy."
Oh,
my God. Wow.
Oh,
All right,
damn.
then.
Yeah, it's on
Pretty
it.
sick.
It's the essentials. That's what I'd use in a bunker if I
I'm
was in
good.
one.
I'm good. No.
In
hold
a
on.
bunker?
Really quick
Styles
first.
got multiple
Archie
legs and
Bunker?
Chris Bunker.
First, before we get into the meat and potatoes, have you guys seen the preview for the new Adam Sandler movie?
No, what new?
It's called Spaceman, and I think it's supposed to be like a serious role. It's based on some Norwegian book.
Okay.
It seems really interesting. It's Adam Sandler. It's a Netflix movie. He's like a spaceman, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I will
seems
say
interesting.
it's I'm craving some serious Sandler.
Yeah,
Wow.
I need some
So-
Sandman. I need some Sandman in my
Yeah.
life, and this is going to fill that gap.
Hell yeah.
But the main reason I've gathered you all here today is
Wait, is
because
that movie going to be on Netflix?
Netflix.
What other things are on Netflix?
There's a movie called Leave the World Behind that was produced
I
by
love you.
Barack and Michelle Obama. That's good. That's a good segue.
Nice fucking
Yeah.
segue.
I wasn't on the right
Yeah.
page. I'm sorry.
Do
No,
it.
That's good.
Nice fucking segue.
Thanks,
Thanks.
man. But
Jake, nice cock. Impressive.
thanks.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, leave the world behind.
I wanted to talk about it because it's a scary movie and it's made me a doomsday prepper now, and it feels.
Well,
it's-
don't say too much.
It feels like a very That's the thing.
Yeah, don't
it's
say
it's
too
so
much.
it's about a family, and I think it's about a family who who goes to stay in this Airbnb to like get away on a vacation. They go to upstate New York. They live in the city. What?
I'm already kind of out because that's where I stay when I'm on the road.
So
Like, we get
so-
Airbnbs and it's like 6 people in one.
Yeah.
So I already
So-
kind of don't like this. Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
like they live in the city. They go get an Airbnb in upstate New York to like get away. Just go on like a vacation. It's Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, and things go awry and shit gets crazy. And the family who lives in the Airbnb is like goes home, and they're like, "Hey, like we actually live here," and it's played by Mahershala Ali, and then this girl, I believe it's pronounced like Michaela or something like
I
that.
will say I watched the trailer for it.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of big name actor and
Yeah,
actresses.
no, it's a lot
Kevin
of heavy
Bacon.
hitters. Mahershala Ali, bro, that's Blade. That's gonna be it.
He should be
Wesley Snipes.
Kang. He should
Listen
be
to the
Kang.
Blade
No.
soundtrack when I
Mahershala Ali's
work
going to be the new Blade.
New Blade, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the new Blade.
What's
It's gonna
that?
be cool.
I listen to the Blade soundtrack when I work out.
Oh, yeah.
The techno. Yeah,
But-
dude, I go crazy.
I listen to Rocky.
But it's they
I listen
frame
to off air.
a lot of their character framing devices though,
Yeah.
and like they use a lot of cool like visual shots too. It looks very interesting, a lot of the shots of the movie, but it plays out a apocalypse scenario, I guess.
So the big kicker though is
Yeah.
so it's,
and so right now at time of recording, Jordan and I are the only ones that have seen it, and
Ever in the
yeah,
world.
ever in the world. We're the first people ever and the last.
Yeah, Barack called him and was like, "Listen, I have this movie
Yeah.
that I produced.
Yeah,
I would love for you two to be the first ones to see it,
right.
if you don't mind.
big
Right.
fan of the Rebel Radio
If
show.
Right.
if you can, I would appreciate it, and I believe you can
Thanks, B.
because yes, we can.
And what
Love
you're
you,
doing
B.
off air is
We love
good
you, B.
stuff.
We
love
love
you, B.
Off Air. It is Michelle and I listen to it all the time.
That's gonna be the new
We
promo.
we sit down and we say, let's listen to Off Air,
Yeah.
and we do.
But that's the kicker. Is it?
And she goes,
produced by.
That classic line.
You want you listen to off air again, Barack? But that's the kicker. Is it's produced by Barack and Michelle Obama. They started a production company. This is the first thing they made, according to Barack. He read a book. This was based on a book. He loved the book so much he wanted to make the movie.
Right.
Made his own production company for it. This is the first and only thing that they've produced so far at time of recording. And the report goes that initially this movie it's just a little over 2 hours.
Detailed.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a lot longer, and like the directors and producers had to be like, "Yeah, no, we can't make this a 5-hour movie."
We have to like trim the fat essentially.
Yeah.
Because Barack wanted to make it like really in depth.
So why wouldn't they just make it into a series? Like it's Netflix.
I am.
Because you know
very-
people would sit there and binge watch it.
It almost makes me think that like.
It's a one and done.
They couldn't get
Well-
Julia Roberts to sign on to a fucking series. That's
Well-
what that was.
It just is like Barack was like too much info was being displayed,
Alright.
and so it was like bigwigs were like, we got to trim this movie down a little bit. You know
There-
what I mean?
there's-
I can't wait to watch this film.
Yeah,
There's a couple scenes that because we talked about this Monday on the Rebel Radio Show,
yeah.
live on Cut and Uncensored every Monday,
every
5
Monday,
p.m.
baby.
Eastern.
5 to
Podcast-
7.
Yeah, 5 podcast comes out every Wednesday. 10 a.m.
CBW Radio. Download Live 365.
Take us with you wherever you go.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
But we talked about this Monday a little bit, and the movie's about a natural disaster, a man-made natural disaster. That's not giving anything away.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Fake.
However, there's a lot of scenes in the movie that don't necessarily seem like they need to be there.
It's deceiving.
For
It's deceiving.
For any other reason, until like at the end of it, you realize who it was made by, and you go back and be like, oh, that's weird that this scene was in there, and it's also weird that this was made by Barack and Michelle Obama.
Again, the
And
framing.
that's the only correlation between
Yeah.
these two things, because in relation to the movie itself, it doesn't really matter to the main plot.
There's a lot. This is going to be a minor spoiler, but I kind of just would rather
no.
you guys. I would just rather you guys. There's like, almost feels like unnecessary, tension between.
Oh, there's racial tension.
Yeah, unnecessary racial
Well, then yeah,
tension.
it's not unnecessary. Okay.
Well, no,
not
it just seems
It-
like
it's prolonged for no reason.
yeah, like the audience finds
Other
out
than-
the audience finds out that there doesn't need to be racial tension before the racial tension is over in the movie.
And then it continues pretty much all throughout the end.
And then even after the characters find out and discover, it still is like framed in a way of like the audience is supposed to view it as this versus that.
There's a specific line in direct relation to that. I'm not going to say it
Yeah.
because I want you guys to experience it as it happens. But once it's said, you'll know the line.
Yeah.
And it's directly in regards to that.
And I am a firm believer that it's a good, I don't want to say like 100% accurate, but it's a good depiction of how I feel real people will react if this type of scenario were to take place. I feel like this is how people would act, down to every character.
You guys want to watch the movie?
It was a spook.
Yeah, we might as well.
It was a spook.
You want to just watch the movie?
Let's spook it.
Let's do it.
All right. After you hear this, we'll be back from watching the movie.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, like I get that side of it.
Well, I think that's the point. I think it's supposed to be like, yo. Hey guys. And again, maybe I guess that could be like my brain feeding into it and what they want you to.
Yeah.
I hope that picked up enough that I can
Shut
leave
your
it.
mouth.
I think it did because I heard it in my cans.
All right, we're back.
Oh, we're going.
Yeah,
All right.
We're just jumping right in.
So
We're back.
Remember, guys, like 2 seconds ago, before this cut out, that we were gonna watch that movie. When we watched that movie,
What was 2 seconds for you was 2 hours for us.
yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
put in the Friends song? Just right. in the
Legally,
middle,
no, I cannot.
Yeah, we can do
Clap.
that.
Let me see what I can work on while you guys kick this off.
Yeah.
So we watched the movie. I don't think Jake or Evan enjoyed it, and that's okay. I
I
don't need you guys like.
I
I don't think we
We
enjoyed
don't
it.
need
to
your
enjoy.
approval.
I don't think we. Well, I don't know. I guess I probably hyped it up, but like it's just a movie
No,
that
it was
I've
worth the hype.
that I've watched recently. That oh,
Yeah.
that's good, man. That sounded
Yeah.
exactly like the
I
Friends.
had to use a golf clap. That was
There
on
it
the
is.
sound effects. All right.
But like it's just a movie that I've watched recently that made me like it perked my ears. You know, I was like, oh, that's a little spook.
Did your hand go over your mouth with the New York shot, or did it go over your
No,
mouth
just
with the
at
Friends?
just at the end of it, like when the girl. So spoilers for Leave the World Behind now.
Oh
Yeah,
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 If
now-
you
now
haven't
there's
seen
spoilers.
it, watch it.
You were
Um,
supposed to pause it with us.
Right. You're supposed to pause it and watch it with us,
Yeah.
Right.
dumbasses.
Right.
But at the
Also,
end,
like, this has been 2 different shows where we've talked about this now, so you should have seen it by now.
right. But at the end of the movie, the girl goes into the bunker and like just watches Friends, and you can hear her mom calling for her in the background. And to me, that I forget where I heard it or read it or whatever, but like in America specifically, we're becoming a lot more individualistic as a society, and just like more focused on us and securing us and fuck everything else, just us, what is important to us on our little tribe and whatever. And I think that scene plays into that, or at least in my brain, those two paths, those two lines crossed of like that girl said she did that thing about, or she told her mom that story about the West Wing episode of the radio, and then the guy with the boat, and then the helicopter, and how he gets to heaven and God's like, what the hell, I sent you all this shit.
That is, quote, what God said.
Right, exactly. But like the fact that she's just so like, okay, fuck you guys, you're all being dumbasses. I know what's going on. I'm leaving. I'm getting myself out of this situation. Fuck my literal family as like a 13, 14-year-old girl. Like that's just a really deep thing to accept, I guess, as someone so young.
So here's my, well, let me preface with this. You've now seen this 3 times?
2 times.
2 times?
Yes.
Okay. 2?
Yeah. I watched it the one time and then I told you about it. And
Right.
then
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I don't,
now I'm watching it. No,
for some reason, I was counting me watching it as you watching it. That
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
make any sense.
that's I'm not you, and you're not me.
Sometimes.
But that's
Sometimes,
okay.
yeah.
What was your
But it's
first
okay.
reaction to the Friends scene at the end?
So here's the thing. Shane sent me this one night and told me to watch it. He told me about it, then sent me the link that night.
To like the trailer.
Yeah, to the trailer, and I went and watched it. The
Oh,
following
I sent you the link to the trailer, and then I sent you a link to
to a
an
spoof site.
Well,
right?
no, it was to an article about the
That's right,
Obamas.
that's right.
And like predictive programming.
Yeah. So he sends me those, and then I watched the movie. And going into it, the only things that I had known was what Shane had told me, which was that at the end of it, he had his hand over his mouth and he was left stunned.
I was gasping. Okay, I was shocked.
Right. And that the Obamas were behind it. This is their first movie with their production company, and that it is
We're
speculated to be predictive programming.
we're saying the Obamas are behind it. That's a really elusive way to just say that they started a production company.
I know I said this before he broke, but like
They're behind it this whole time.
it's weird to me that they started this production company specifically
No,
for
it's-
this movie
that is
because
a
he
weird-
liked the book.
That's a really weird specific.
And it just came out of the blue. It wasn't like,
Right.
hey, we're starting a production company.
right,
that
right,
huge
right.
monologue that dude went over when he was talking about how it would be too easy if there was like an Illuminati
Mhm.
or if there's like a secret organization ruling the world. That was weird.
I have a point on that, but let me real
Yeah,
quick.
everything that guy was saying definitely kind of bugged me a little bit about like when the world's collapsing like that, no one's really in control, and the rich people just kind of get a heads up. Like that spooked me a little bit too, because that feels accurate. That feels like the rich people don't know; they just hide in a bunker and hope that and they find out 6 months ahead of time and hope it's okay. You know?
So here's the thing. I get like you saying that you were just kind of gasping in awe at the end of it. Because, like,
Right.
when it ended, I kind of just sat there in silence for a minute and went, okay, interesting. That was an interesting way to end. But then you
Yeah.
just kind of think about the movie itself, right? So I definitely sat there for a second after too and just went, okay, well, what the fuck was that? My thing is, and I want to talk specifically about what you said real quick, about there's a monologue in the movie about how the guy says, he's talking about his client, and he's like, when it comes down to it, the rich don't really have it any better off than any of the rest of us. The elite don't have any better off. All they can hope for is to get the information quicker, right? To me, and I told Shane this Monday, to me that is just like a red herring or a misdirect in it. Because if we're looking at this through the lens of predictive programming, right, which for anyone listening who doesn't know by now, that just means like being exposed to something that isn't or hasn't happened, that is under like sci-fi or fiction,
To desensitize
you, so if it does happen, you'll react more accustomed to it.
Right.
So going in it with the mindset predictive programming, that to me was a cop out from the Obamas of being like, no, the rich and powerful definitely don't know anything. We're all in the same boat here.
But
that's
is that what
that
it
seemed
says
like
in
to
the
me.
book?
I haven't read the book.
Right, but what I'm saying is that might be the whole premise of the book.
I can't attest to that. I can only attest to what I saw in the movie. And again, I just think the fact that Barack Obama loved this book so much, he wanted to make it a movie and make it a 5-hour movie, and they had to tell him no, it can only be a 2-hour something movie.
Right.
And like it's just this idea spurred this out of nowhere.
And again, that too, the fact that he wanted to make it.
And you'd have to
long
think it's a
and
modernized version.
Right. Because it was a foreign book, and I'm assuming it's old, so they probably had to modernize it a lot. But
Which I will say, the one big thing that I kept thinking about at the end of the movie was there was in 1982, I want to say, an ex-KGB operative who escaped from Soviet Russia. He wrote a report on the plan for communism in opposing countries to invade and tear down from within. And essentially the report diagrams a 4-step program. I think it's 4 to 6. I don't remember which number it is exactly, but it's a 4-step monologue essentially about the steps taken over 30-year span to tear a country down from within and install a communistic rule. There's a real thing. You can find it. And a lot of it is just injecting media or injecting you with fake media, injecting the country with leaders who aren't actually standing up for anything, being open to more ideas that oppose just the normal American way of life and oppose capitalism in general, and just desensitizing Americans to the idea of independence and liberty. And I think that's something that's been evident the past few years. Maybe you can't draw a 1-to-1 comparison, but I think that is what is referenced, either if it's in the original book or just this movie. I think that is what that reference is coming from.
right.
Is that document that exists.
So the book was written in 2020.
Okay, so it's only 3 years old.
Yeah, so it's only 3 years old. The guy's American.
The scene that bugged
And-
me.
Well, real quick, his parents came over from Bangladesh, and he went to Oberlin College.
Oh, the guy who
So-
wrote the book.
Correct.
What's the name of the book?
The same as the movie.
Same as the name.
Leave
same
the
name.
World Behind.
Yeah, Leave the World Behind.
Oh,
What bothered me about, I guess, the one part in the movie when he like pulled the gun on his like contractor dude or whatever, and then later he explains that I knew that was gonna happen. Like what? I mean, I don't know, dude. That's kind of like a huge. He's like, dude, you knew that was the plan for the people to turn against each other, and you still sat there for a second. It's like, I'm gonna pull a gun on my contractor. Even though he's got a gun pointed.
I
at me.
mean, if I live in a neighborhood with that kind of guy, and I know that he has that kind of rep in the neighborhood, and I'm going to his house to essentially impose myself upon him intentionally, I'm gonna assume me as a smart, head on my shoulders American, I'm gonna assume that motherfucker is gonna at least bring a gun out with him because of the circumstances that I know are going on right now. That's my opinion.
I think it's
And I think you would too. I think you would understand that he might pull a gun on you.
I think it's interesting how they portrayed each of the characters as like that, Because there's more than one bad guy. There's more than one person in this movie that you're supposed to think is in the wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah.
wife is definitely the bad guy the entire time.
Yeah, she's just kind of mean.
Yeah, she's a douchebag. They call it out in the movie.
She
that
just
one's a
seems-
given.
She seems, if I could assess, she seems stressed that the world is fucking crumbling around her and like is just freaking out on everyone. And
She
that
seems like a
is-
Karen.
Yeah, she seems like she's stressed and she's just like imposing that on everyone. Her stress about the world, even though everyone's fucking stressed about the world.
See, now the difference between her and the daughter, though, I think the daughter ends up getting portrayed as a bad guy, but also a justified bad guy for some reason.
Ruth or
That's how
the
Ruth?
Yeah.
I think that's how they end up portraying it, and I think that's weird because she's blatantly racist in it as well.
Yeah.
But like the way they wrap that up, it seems like, well, I'm justified because I'm worried, like no one else is worried, and that
Yeah.
seems a little weird
What's
to me.
with the deer, dude?
She seems very cold shouldery.
That's another thing
What's with the fucking deer?
I
Are
have
they not
questions about.
programmed like?
But real quick, also the Kevin Bacon's character at the end
Yeah.
is portrayed like the blue collar American Republican redneck guy, right?
Yeah.
And they
In
start
a
portraying
rich
him like a bad guy for not wanting to fucking share his shit.
in a rich New York house.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm saying.
If anyone, him and the dad, Ethan Hawke's character, are the two most level-headed people in this thing, in my opinion.
yeah.
The deer is a weird
or the
thing.
teenage son. I don't know. He was pretty.
Mahershala Ali character, he was pretty. I feel like he was.
Pretty realistic.
He didn't do anything crazy.
No, but he was also withholding information the entire time, which is a little weird.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
Which one? You're saying
The father,
yeah.
Mahershala Ali.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't
For
think
some
of the
reason,
character's
I don't
name, but
like-
yeah.
What information?
GH.
Yeah,
GH.
GH was
What
kind of a dick.
information?
Well,
He knew everything that was going on
Yeah, at
because
the
he
end
got
he
a
talked
call
about-
before. He got a call a day before, and then when everything's going on and the kid's teeth fall out, that's when you're like, "Oh, hey, you know what I heard? You want to know what I heard?" And then that's when he looks at Ethan Hawke and he's like, "I need to know
That seems
that
a bit.
you have my back."
That seems a bit aggressive.
I don't think he's portrayed as the bad guy by
Yeah, I
any
don't think
means.
he's a dick.
However, it's interesting, and again, it could be because. Do you guys at least agree that like there's weird racial tension to a point in there? Like
There's a lot of
it's
racial
warranted
tension
at
where
points
there. I don't think there
where
needs
it's
to
set
be.
up to be.
I don't think there needs to be any racial tension.
I
I think
thought-
that the racial tension is completely imposed throughout the whole movie, just for the sake of let's scare the viewers and let's create that amongst the viewers. And I think
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's predictive programming, I think that's the goal of
Yeah,
it
no,
is to
see-
create racial tension. through it.
I only thought there was racial tension between Ruth and the wife.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
That
that's
was
what
it.
it
That,
is.
that
Well,
was the
yeah,
only
it was-
racial tension.
Well,
Well, the wife and the
doesn't
black
like-
dude almost
yeah.
fucked.
it was
Right,
the
and
wife
then
and, the
once-
black family.
Yeah.
In my
Right,
opinion.
and then literally once they started talking, like, see, this is why I guess this
Well,
is
yeah,
where I'm
and that
having
was the other thing.
this.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is where I'm having the problem with the predictive programming because at the end, all of the citizens like came together.
yeah.
So you can't say that they want to divide us when at the end, literally, the wife and Ruth were cool.
Yeah.
The wife fucking saved Ruth's life. The black guy, GW, whatever, and Ethan Hawke, they worked together to save his son. So you can't say that they're trying to divide people. I mean, what they said leading up to him, when they're like, yeah, he said that this is going to
No.
happen, this and this and
Youth.
this.
That's a very valid point, and I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
I
like
think
they ended up working together.
I think for me, where I made that point was like the framing leading up to the last 15 minutes of it. Because, like, like maybe 1/3 of the way into the movie that the black family isn't lying anymore. Because it's definitely in the first, like, couple of scenes that the black family's in when they first come to the house, it's definitely portrayed like they could be doing something nefarious. And they might actually be trying to steal the house, or they might try to be doing something sketchy.
For me, I was convinced of that as soon as he unlocked the correct drawer that had the money in it after he offered him the money.
Right, but then like there's the gun in there, and they play the music. Like they try to frame it in a way
Yeah,
of like
that he's
you don't know
sketchy. Yeah.
that you don't know what they're doing, and something might be up. And then you learn that no, they genuinely live there. The mom is genuinely just missing and like probably dead.
Yeah.
So like they're scared. It's like it's interesting to me that it was framed in a specific way for. It feels like a prolonged period of time, like too long almost.
Yeah.
You think that's a way that the the rich elite are basically trying to tell the working class people by saying that something like this is going to happen and it's not going to matter whether we're rich or poor. So it's kind of like a forgive us because now we're all on equal ground.
Okay, so that's my point. Jordan's point, though, is that that's a red herring and that the rich actually are in control, and they're making this movie to say, well, no, guys, we're on the same plane, just pulling the string. Like, no, we're on the same playing field as you. I see both sides of this coin.
Yeah.
I'm still,
which makes it tough.
I'm still of the opinion that if we're looking at this through predictive programming, which I'm going to advocate for, I think, the setup is, okay, something like this is going to happen. We're going to get you antiquated to the idea of it happening, right? And things that could happen in this event, so you're numb to it. I think that's very much a thing. And, like Shane said, I think that it is very much just like a cop-out at this point of trying to reduce blame on whoever the higher up in government may be, or the people in the know may be, of saying, well, all we had is a little bit more time. We're all in the same boat together. Also, even though they say that, the guy he's talking about who he got this information from is away and safe.
Right.
He made it out.
Right.
He moved all his money and made it out.
The evil cabals.
Yeah.
Well,
like that guy made it out. He had the information. He had the money, and he got away unscathed.
Right.
So, and then they're going to sit here and say, "Oh, all they have is more time. They aren't safe."
Preceding program is a StylesRebelRadio.com production.